Hi all, and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things. And I think it's my second crochet update for you all. I believe I did a crochet update in December, and now we are into February with a second one. If you are new to the channel, new to my videos, or what have you, I'm a beginner crocheter. I taught myself how to crochet in the spring, and then started getting the hooks and needles box closer to the fall, and then have been kind of giving my thoughts on those, as well as doing other projects outside of the hooks and needles box to kind of expand what I do, or expand my knowledge of how to crochet, of crochet in general. And that's what this update video is for you. It's the things that I've made outside of hooks and needles. I'm going to do this video in a few different parts. Part one is going to be talking about the scarves and things that I made following some tutorials, some patterns by Hooked by Robin. I think that's her name. I'll leave her website, her blog, the way to find her down in the description box, along with the names of the patterns that I used. Part two is going to be talking about my coaster journey, like what this little stack is. And then part three is going to be talking about this like face cloth, dishcloth that I made from a pattern that Kenyadda Crochet made. So, and then part four is going to be final thoughts and sign off, I guess, to round everything out. So before we get started, I do want to say hello and welcome. Hello to the new subscribers, the OGs, anybody in between. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate every single person who subscribed to get me over 1,000 subscribers. It's a milestone that I didn't really think I'd ever hit. And I'm just so glad that you're here. If you like what I'm doing, well, I'm happy that you seem to like what I'm doing on this channel. And hello to the people who are not subscribed as well. Anyone who's clicked on this video for the first time and is still watching, anyone who has kind of been lurking in the background and seeing what I'm up to, hello, you are also appreciated. Anyone who clicks on this video is appreciated. Anyone who leaves a lovely comment is more so. But anyway, do think about subscribing if you want to. If you want to hang out with me, I do crochet videos and crafting videos and sewing videos and all that kind of fun stuff. And with that being said, let's get into part one, talking about Hooked by Robin. So if you saw update 1 in December, I'll link it here for you. I talked about how I was making fingerless gloves and starting on a scarf with a skein of yarn that I picked up at Joann Fabrics on sale. I don't know where the fingerless gloves are. I think I might have tucked them away into a winter coat, but that was from that video, and now we're on this video. And when I was on that video, I had just started making this scarf here with a different kind of detail, right? It's like a more fun fan shell kind of pattern. And this yarn works so nicely for it. What was really cool about her pattern is that your shells, or your fans, or whatever you want to call them, run this way. But when you start it, she has you have it run the other way too. So you end up with this really nice scalloped detail on your one side. And then you end up with a scalloped detail on your other side, so that both sides match. It's a really pretty scarf. It's on the short side. Like if I fold it in half, it is, what is this? This one's only in centimeters. That's my French one. It's roughly 20 inches or so. So that's 40 inches. So it's one that you can kind of wrap into your coat. It's not one that you can like wrap around your body a few times, but that's okay because I wouldn't want to wrap this around. I'd want it to be more like a coat kind of scarf, if you know what I mean. Like a tuck-in kind of scarf rather than like a full-on cozy in your face kind of scarf. I don't know how I'm trying to say that, but here's a picture of it on my little mannequin that I have upstairs, so you can kind of see its size, its length. So 40 inches isn't too shabby. What's that in centimeters? Because why not? I have it here. (102 centimeters roughly. So a little on the short side, but I used up all the yarn that I had for it, and now it matches the fingerless gloves that I made in update 1. So this was a really easy pattern to follow with Hooked by Robin. If you are new to crochet and you want to make something a little bit different and outside of the regular like single, half, double, and double crochets, this is a really good pattern for that. It worked up really nicely. It's a quick little pattern, and you can make it to the size that you want. Next up is my next round of fingerless gloves and another version of a scarf. So these fingerless gloves are exactly the same as the ones from update 1. I need to get better at my tension, I think, for these because they're a little tight on my wrists, but I think they look beautiful. This is my favorite color like on the planet, and I picked it up at Joann Fabrics when I picked up this and some yarn for some other projects and things like that. And I didn't know what I was going to make with these, but I knew that I wanted the yarn. And then I decided sometime in the fall that I wanted to make these into a glove and scarf kind of thing. I bought 2 skeins. So this is what the gloves end up looking like. They're a fan shell detailing as well. So those are my second attempt at gloves, and I think they worked out pretty well. Covered in cat hair because everything in my house is covered in cat hair. But they're really cozy, they're really warm, and they fit nicely. They're not too tight. Like I still have full range of motion and stuff like that. And they're just really fun to have and to have like peek out of my coat and stuff. They are made with this KC brand premium yarn knit and crochet super wool luxe, 100% superwash merino fine wool. They are machine washable, sort of. They're right below 30 degrees, don't bleach, don't tumble dry, lay flat, low temp. So they're a little fussy in their care instructions, but I just love the wool, I love the color, and I wanted to make these in them. And then to go with that, I made myself a shorter infinity scarf. Again, I knew this was going to be on the short side because of what I planned on using it for, and that's kind of to tuck into my scarf. So you can kind of see I had 2 dye lots. I thought I had the same dye lot. I double checked it, but you can see where this join is, that there's actually 2 dye lots on here. The first one goes to here. This is what I have, this section here up to this stitch marker. From this starting point here to this stitch marker here was what I used with my leftover yarn after making these 2 gloves. And then the rest of this is all the second skein. So I would have needed 3 skeins if I wanted to make like a nice long big scarf, but I didn't. Again, I had a very specific thought process for this. And it was to make an infinity scarf because I like having an infinity scarf wrapped around me more than anything else. And I wanted it on the shorter side, so when I wrapped it around my neck, I could get 2 rounds on my neck, but have it like nice and close and not too like loose and hanging down into my coat. So I left the stitch marker on to show me where the join is between the 2 patterns, or between the 2 skeins. What's funny is that like in regular light you can't really see the 2 dye lots, but I think you can kind of see the dye lots more on camera. And I left the end in so that I could see where I joined them all in the back. But again, you can really, especially on the back here, you can really see the 2 different dye lots come together. This is the same stitch as this. It's the fantail stitch. It's a tight stitch. Like, I think that if I'd used a larger hook, I might have gotten a looser stitch on here, like more open space. But I really like how this came out, how this came together. I think it's so pretty. I don't know if you can really see the detailing on camera, but it's so pretty in real life. Again, Hooked by Robin. This is another free pattern that she has available, and I just think it's so pretty. You can make it as big as you want, as short as you want. It's really nice. It also has some stretch because of the fantail design. So I really like it. I really like how it came together. And I want to say that it was 80 rows, I believe. I think I did 4 rows of like 20 or more, like 160 rows, because each fantail kind of is 2 rows, but 80 rows of fantails. And then this one here, it's about the same size as the other scarf, I think. Like, I just worked it until I didn't have yarn anymore. This one here is 21 inches, so 42 inches altogether. So it's a little bit longer than the other one if it was like pulled apart. But yeah, I like Hooked by Robin's patterns. They're always pretty simple. They're easy to follow. She has good instructions. She has tutorial videos. Like, the tutorial video for these are great. I followed it the first time and I referred back to it when I got confused. And overall, I really like them. And I really like the fact that I've got this color now. I think it's so pretty. And I'll probably end up revisiting these like again next year to see if I've gotten any better at it. I will say this scarf is easier to make than this scarf. This one here is a little bit more detailed and like a 4-row repeat on it, and this one here is just a single row repeat. Like this one here, you have like your fantail, and then you're stitching into a 2nd row here to make this one. So there's like a little bit more with this pattern. This one is definitely a little bit on the easier side, but I think they both look really cool. And I'm really happy with how both of them turned out. Next up, we'll talk crochet journey. So part 2, crochet journey. When I say crochet journey, I mean coaster journey. So these you might see are familiar. These are the coasters that I made from the Hooks and Needles box from this most recent review. Here's a link to that if you want to see me talk about those. I wanted to throw them in here to show you that I've been kind of messing around with coasters. So I wanted to make a cat coaster, and this was my first attempt. I found the pattern on Ravelry and went over to their website, or to the person's pattern. It was pretty simple. It's a spiral pattern, right? So you don't really have like a start and end to your pattern. It's just one continuous spiral, and then they have you put on these like little ears on the end. I ended up doing an extra row because I think I crochet really tightly, and I think this yarn is quite fine compared to the yarn that they used. And my ears came out more rounded than I wanted them to. I wanted them to be more cat-like. To me, this looks more like a bear, but this was the first coaster that I tried making, and I did this before I got the box for these. And so, yeah, it definitely needs blocking to be flattened out and stuff like that, but this was my first attempt, and I'm not sure I would make it again. I actually like the pattern for this better, and you make a circle about the same size without adding a row, right? Because I had to add a row to this one, to the like little bear cat thing. But you could easily do like a circle right up to here, and instead of doing your scalloped border, you could do like a more of a border to make an ear, and I think that would be really cool. So that's what I'm going to try out next. I just haven't quite had the time to try it out yet. This yarn is from France. It's from a store called Sostrena Grena, and they had a whole bunch of cotton yarns that I bought in February or in October when I was there on holiday. And then I also was online finding other tutorials, and I had one that's like, make dainty coasters. And the lady, I don't remember her name, but I'll leave her linked in the description box. Her name's on the screen for you, and it's linked in the description box, the website or something, I don't know. Some way to find this person. And she does like a lot of sweater patterns and things like that that looked really interesting. And before I purchase patterns from anybody, because I really don't buy a lot of patterns, but before I purchase patterns from anybody, I want to see what their free patterns look like, to see if it's something that like works with me and helps me understand what's going on. So I went to her free coaster patterns, and she has like a 3-pack of coaster patterns that you can follow along with. And then these were 2 of them. I think this was the first one that we made, and she wanted to call them like, she called them dainty, kind of like lace looking coasters. So there are like 5 rounds, and they're all different kind of types of rounds to kind of create like texture and movement and stuff in the coaster. So this is the first one that we made. I believe this is the first one. These definitely need blocking with how like different every single row is and stuff like that. So that's the first one. And then this is the second one. It has a bit of a different look to it as well. It's kind of ruffled on the outside. And it's quite pretty too. They're more work. Like you can look on the back here and see like all the different kinds of rows and stuff we were messing around with and creating. And then it kind of creates for this ripply, soft kind of texture on the front. Not sure how they ended up being 2 different sizes. I don't know if I missed a row on this, or it's just different tightness in the tension or what, but these 2 came from that. And then there was a third one that I didn't have time to finish making. So I just have these 2 to share with you. And then I have this granny square. This is my first granny square. I found a free online tutorial thing. It popped up on Facebook under one of those like billions of crochet video or crochet Facebook pages that you don't know if they're legit or not. But it was just a diagram of how to make a granny square. Here's a photo of the diagram because I just took a screenshot of it. I have no idea where it came from. I have no idea who the original creator was. I don't even follow that crochet page, but I kind of liked how simple the granny square was from it, so I took a screenshot and made this. Pretty straightforward, worked up really quickly, and this is how it came together. So they're all about the same size. I think they're all on the small size, but I like a big coaster. So this guy here is what, 4 3/4. The ones from the Hooks and Needles box is about 4 inches. This one here is going to be about 3.5. This one, which is too small, is 3 inches. This one here is, without the second or the additional row, it's about 3 inches. With the additional row, we're looking at what, about 3.5 inches, 3.25, 3.5, somewhere around there. And then this is the same size as these other ones. So I prefer coasters like this size. 3.5 inches is okay too. 3 inches is just too small. But that's my coasters that I've been working on. I only have to weave in my ends on the 3 that I just finished and this one here, like, because I'm not a fan of this one. I'm tempted to frog it and try again, but I'm also tempted to kind of block it first and see. I need to actually get rust-free pins before I do that, but yeah, that's those. And then finally, I just want to share a little dishcloth face. I'm going to use this as a face cloth, not a dishcloth, because it's such soft yarn. But this is a pattern that Kenyadda Crochet just released on her Etsy shop. $2 for it, which is, I think, a pretty fair price. She calls it, I think she calls it a pebble dishcloth or something like that. And yeah, so it's a bunch of puff stitches with like a pretty little centerpiece with some more puff stitches on the end. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward pattern. My edges could be a little nicer, but my first time working it up, I thought it turned out pretty nicely. I added a little hanging thing here because I think, like I said, I'm going to use this as a face cloth, and I hang my face cloths in the shower, so I put just like a little hanging thing on the side here. But yeah, I thought it worked up really well. I thought it looks so cute. Her pattern was really easy to follow. It was really easy to understand. It makes a decent sized dishcloth. Again, this is a finer sized yarn that I'm using. So I think if I use like a proper cotton yarn, it would be a little bit bigger, but it's what, 5 3/4 properly like stretched out. It's probably, yeah, it's 6 inches, and then it should be 6 inches. Wait, 6 inches, and then 5 3/4, 6 inches. So, you know, if it was nice and flat and probably get blocked, it'd be 6 by 6. It's sitting about 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. But yeah, I really like how it came together. I picked up this pattern last week and I just kind of whipped it up. But I think it's so pretty. Like the detailing on it. I hate puff stitches usually working with them, but I really liked how this came together. Your front right is all boppy, and then your back is smooth. So even if you use this with like some of the textured dishcloth cotton, I think you could have like a really nice scrubby on your hands with it. So big fan of that. And that is what I made since my last update outside of hooks and needles. So part 4, final thoughts and sign off. I have not been as active making things in the last 2 months as I had before. Right, we had Christmas, and Christmas took up quite a bit of time. I worked on this and these over Christmas and into January, and then in the last 3 weeks or so of January, I was like messing with coasters and playing around with those, and kind of just taking a break to relaxing a little bit, right, doing all the kinds of things that January ends up bringing with you. I wish I could tell you which hooks I used, but I used the hooks that the patterns called for. Kenyadda called for a 5. I know I used a 5 on those. I think I used a 4 on these, and I have zero memory of what I was using on these. So This one here is probably a 4.5. But yeah, everything was very much repetitive for this month. Like, not a lot of changes. These were changes, but other than these two coasters, everything was a very repetitive pattern. Something that was pretty mindless that I could do while in the car or on the train, or sitting and watching TV or chatting with my family or anything like that. They were all pretty easy to work on and work with, and I really liked it. I liked being able to experiment with different stitches too, because those 3 stitches, single, half double, and double crochets, can be tiring after a while. But I know they're very good foundational stitches to have. I really liked working with these fans as well. I enjoyed crocheting this month. I didn't take it too seriously, and I didn't try too hard, and I kind of just like made what I wanted to make. I also haven't been to any yarn stores or craft stores, so I'm running low on yarn. So some things that I wanted to make, I couldn't make because I just didn't have any yarn for it, or enough yarn. So that was kind of one of my stymieing factors as well. So yeah, that is this month's crochet update for you. I plan on making more dishcloths and different kinds of cotton yarns, seeing how I like them. I probably plan on experimenting more with coasters. I think I'm done making winter items for this winter. I think I'm all set. Time to turn my attention to things for spring, I think. But do think about checking out my next crochet update coming in March or April, whenever I've built up enough of a pile that I could talk to you about what's going on. I don't have any current projects to work on because I finished this yesterday and I just haven't gotten around to making, well, I haven't started anything new since then. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if there's patterns or tutorials out there that you really like that I should check out as well. If you want more crochet this month, I have a hooks and needles crochet unboxing expected sometime in the next week or so. That's box 7. There will be a project review for box 7 as well when I get it, usually 2 weeks after the first one. There's going to be a hooks and needles 6-month review video coming your way as well, and in that video I'm going to talk about all the things that I think about hooks and needles as a subscription box in general. Talking about a bit about the company, my thoughts on it, about the projects, what I liked about them, what I didn't like about them, and kind of giving you more a comprehensive look into whether or not you might want to pick up or not pick up hooks and needles for yourself. On top of that, we're heading into unboxing time. Last week we had our Sewers Club stash builder unboxing. This coming week I'm hoping that we're having our project box, but I'm not sure. I don't know where that package is, so there might be like a sewing project instead, but there will be a Sewers Club project unboxing either this Wednesday or the Wednesday after. We've got quilt updates coming up, and we've got, you know, a bunch of fun things planned. So if any of that is of interest to you, do think about subscribing. And again, do let me know what other things you would like to see me kind of work on with crochet. Like if you have projects you'd like to see me attempt, or makers you'd like to see me check out, or subscription boxes you think that I should be looking at. Any and all things are appreciated. Like the video if you've made it to the end, and I think I've said all that I wanted to say today. So with that being said, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye!